What's up,
Hello.
Christian?
How are you?
What you said?
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Just chilling. Long
Okay.
week.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say before I ask you a couple of questions?
No, bro, fire away.
Okay.
I like
So
your
I
background, by
guess.
the way.
Oh, thank you.
Very professional. Is that y'all's logo?
It is.
It's pretty sweet.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. Like, how did you begin running? Did you do any other sports before you started running? Or like, how old were you when you began?
I didn't really I didn't really start running as early as some of like, my other competitors did or like other
Hmm.
people in the sport. I never did like the USATF stuff.
Yeah.
Really like the way I started running was just kind of like doing turkey trots and stuff
Hmm.
with my mom, or like going to like little 5K road races around, just because, I played soccer originally and I was really tiny, very short, very small. I couldn't really like compete that well. So I kind of looked for things where I could, be better at some people at, and that was one of them. I was doing the 5Ks, while everyone else in my grade was doing like the fun run and stuff. I would just go out and do the 5K, which, back then it seemed like a really long distance, so it impressed people, but it's not that hard if you just pace yourself. But that's really kind of how I started was just doing that type of stuff, and then once I got to middle school, um, I was like, might as well do cross country. I had some friends who were doing it, and I just thought I'm pretty good at it, so I might as well. Um, and that's what I did for a while, and from seventh grade all the way up to freshman year of high school, I would literally go to cross country practice for like an hour or two, get my mom to pick me up, and then drive me straight to soccer practice. So like when people talk about like I talk about how I didn't do that much mileage, but probably like those years, like I was putting in a lot more mileage than I really thought because, I was doing like sports for like 4 or 5 hours a day. Um, but yeah, and then I got to like sophomore year of high school and I got good enough at running that I was like, I might as well go all in on this. I could probably get into a good school or something, if I run fast enough. But, I never imagined that, I would get this good at the sport. I was honestly really just trying to get into a good college and set myself up for the future.
Hmm. Okay. So you said you really got serious into like running your sophomore year. What was your training looking like that throughout your senior year and now compared to where you're in college?
Yeah, I mean, sophomore year, like that was really when I started to kind of
Hmm.
like sit down with my high school coach, Coach Anderson at Athens Academy, and he was really just kind of like, we kind of got something like you got really lucky here, like you're pretty talented at this. We should really go all in and originally my training was uh we did some just like here at Harvard, some would consider our training at Athens Academy a little bit unorthodox.
Hmm.
Coach Anderson was an 800-meter runner in college, and in a way he kind of trains us like 800-meter runners, obviously with a lot of modifications, so that we can run, 3Ks in cross country and stuff, 5Ks in cross country, I mean. Um, but yeah, I mean, like originally, like I wouldn't even show up to summer practices, in high school. And, one time I was like screwing around with my friends during the summer and we were messing around at school and I
Hmm.
accidentally walked into practice, when I was like not there to practice. And that led to some awkward conversations, with my coach. And kind of after that, I was like, dang, like I really need to stop screwing around. So, once I started taking it seriously in high school, I would probably start off around sophomore year. I probably wasn't running that much, maybe like 30 miles, 30 to 40 miles a week. Um, and it pretty much stayed the same all the way until senior year. Maybe picked it up in the summers to like 40 to 50 miles. Never really ran more than 10 miles at a time. Uh, and we did a lot of workouts. We would, a lot of times, I think we would work out 3 times a week. They're not huge workouts or anything, just kind of stuff like hill repeats or like 200s. We did a lot of sprints, really slow running on the off days. Um, but yeah, it was a great Coach Anderson did a great job with me in high school, and now my training is a whole lot different, but in a way, it's still unorthodox per se. So I'm kind of used to like the weird training that some people think it is, but
Yeah.
now I'm doing like 100 miles a week, um, doing it all really fast, like at 6 minute pace, or faster, and then I'm
Hmm.
doing two workouts a week. And usually the workouts I do here are like, you know, on Tuesdays we'll do like a tempo run. Since it's track season, we'll do like a longer tempo run, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And then we'll come inside on the indoor track and do 200s or 300s. Um, and then on Fridays we'll do like a fartlek that's also about 30 to 40 minutes, come inside on the track and then do some harder reps like 800s or
Hmm.
mile repeats, Ks, and then a long run on Sundays are pretty long, like 20 miles if I'm doing 100. But that's pretty much when I'm maxed out. So the training's a lot different here, but in a way it's similar where it's like, like I said, stuff that people wouldn't normally think would work.
Yeah. So when you're running those easy runs at like high five, low six paces, like how difficult would you say that is? Do you like run them off heart rate or anything, or just off feel?
Yeah, so when you like obviously we're a college program, so we bring in
Hmm.
freshmen every year from high school who, for the most part never really did that because, it's honestly not a good idea to run that fast on your easy days, especially when your coach is telling you to take those days easy.
Hmm.
But the way our coach does it here is like it's built into the training. Like he recognizes how hard it is to run like that on a day-to-day basis. So everything's tweaked so that it works.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, so you get, freshmen that come in every year and it's like really hard the first few months. A lot of the times, Coach Gibby will just be like, he'll put the freshmen and be like, let's just start at like 620s, 630s. Like you said, sometimes he'll just be like, just go off heart rate. He normally wants our heart rate to be around 150 to 160. So
Okay.
like you're in the aerobic development heart rate range. Um, for me, when I think about when I first started, it was like, wait, it was in the summer. Um, and it just felt like every day was race day. Like I'd wake up
Hmm.
and it's like, oh my God, like I gotta run 6 minute pace. And sometimes it still feels like that. But not that much anymore. After, I mean, definitely after a full year. But I would say maybe even after like a month or two, you get pretty used to it. And especially when you're here at Harvard and like we're training all together, you've got like 15 guys doing it. It's a lot easier when you're just kind of hanging out, talking. Um, but yeah, it gets a lot easier, and you'd be surprised. I mean, uh, like the thing that sucks with it is like once you start doing it, you can't stop. Like
Yeah.
I'll say like we have like alumni who like will like quit running for like they'll finish college running and they just won't run for like 4 or 5 years. Like they've just been
Hmm.
working, and then they'll be like, you know what, I'll start running again. I'm just gonna go outside and jog. And they'll look at their splits afterwards and see that they cut down all the way to 550s again. And they're like, dang, like,
Yeah.
Gibby still got me. Um, and then, one other annoying thing is we'll do pre-races at like big meets, like the
Hmm.
day before a big cross country meet at like Wisconsin or like NCAAs. All the teams are out at the course the day before and they normally do like a 5 mile run, 6 mile run with some strides to get ready for the race the next day.
Hmm.
And we just go out on the course and we're like passing everyone and like all these good teams like NAU and like
Yeah.
OSU and we're just like flying by and they're like, what is Harvard doing? Like we're not even ranked in the top 10, but it's just how the training goes and it's,
Yeah.
we enjoy it and we take pride in it. And it's definitely not something like anyone should really just do like off on their own. I would say like you really got to make sure it's safe, because it
Hmm.
is difficult training to do, and Coach Gibby is able to handle it pretty well, I feel like.
So what was the reasoning for choosing Harvard? Because obviously it has great academics and pretty dang good sports as well, but like you've definitely had other options. So what was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, I mean like I was saying earlier, like I mean I really just started running like or I really committed to running just because I was like I can get into a good school.
Hmm.
So immediately when I was starting going through the recruiting process, like I immediately was just I mean, I essentially just cut off every school that I like was not like very very good academics because I was like
Yeah.
if I'm gonna go to run like I want to get good academics because you know you never know if running's gonna work out or not. uh
Hmm.
and so I ended up visiting Harvard, Georgetown, and Columbia, and I was looking at a bunch of other schools too. Like I was talking to most of the Ivy League schools and a lot of schools from the Northeast. Tried to get in touch with Stanford, didn't really hear back.
Yeah.
Like didn't hear back from a lot of schools. I wasn't like a great recruit or anything, but
Hmm.
once you're like a junior, I'll just say like the best thing to do is to start sending out emails to coaches and stuff, and a lot of times you'll hear back, and that was the case with Harvard. I emailed it must have been my junior year, I think, early on in cross country, and I emailed the Coach Gibby here at Harvard, and he immediately
Yeah.
responded. He was like, "Whoa, like it is crazy." Like, because at that point my PRs were like, 9:13 and was it 9:13? No, at that point my PRs were like not my PRs were like 9:30 in the 3,200, 4:20 in the miles. So like he really didn't need to like I really didn't need to get an email back from him, but
Hmm.
I started to have a good cross country season that fall. Ran some like low 15s at probably a fake cross country course.
Yeah.
Um, and I won a state championship, but you know, uh, that's how I kind of started getting recruited by Harvard. And then, once I took my official visits up here,
Hmm.
at Georgetown, Columbia, and Harvard, I loved all three of the schools, but it just ended up being like I like the people the most here at Harvard. Um, it's like a super diverse team, like from all over the world. Like we had guys from, the UK, we had people all over the US, people from like other places in Europe, and I just like really like the kind
Hmm.
of like the energy on the team where no one was really taking themselves too seriously, and it was just kind of like a fun. It was just a really fun group, and I had a great time on my official visit. Um, and I didn't even realize how good Coach Gibby was, or really realize how good Harvard was compared to like other schools in the region. So I got
Hmm.
kind of lucky with that because I was just trying to find a school I'd be happy with outside of running. Um, but yeah, now that I look back, I got pretty lucky because I think this is, they have a great coaching setup. We have great facilities. And the team's been performing pretty well the past few years.
Yeah. So how was it going undefeated then this season from being like towards the top of like D1 recruits, but like still like not with like Nico Young as in last year where he was like placing, and then to come out this year, did like training change at all from those 2 points? So like how did that happen?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the training never really changed that much.
Hmm.
I think it ends up just being like the consistency. Uh,
Yeah.
I was really able to get like a good full, like must have been, I don't know how long cross country season is when you count the summer
Hmm.
training. It must be like around 5 months, 6 months. No, maybe less. I don't know. But basically I had like no interruptions, stayed pretty healthy throughout, and like, never missed anything. Um,
Hmm.
and I think it was just like, I was just having a lot of fun. Like, uh, I like whenever we get back to campus from summer, like we have meetings with our coach and he's like, what do you want to do this season? Like he asked your goals. And I was just honest with him. I was like, win everything. And that's what I said the year before, and I lost almost every race. Like, I mean, I won, one or two races, but, uh,
Hmm.
I still said it because that was still my goal is just win everything. So nothing really changed. I like the training was the same, my goals were still the same. It's just like this is like my third year going at it, and you just get more experience, you get stronger,
Hmm.
and you figure stuff out. You figure out how to race, um, and yeah, and it just all kind of clicked this year. I mean, it really didn't get real until Nutty Come, I knew I
Yeah.
could win the race in Boston. But when we got the Nutty Come, like that's a big race. Like that's basically
Hmm.
nationals. And of course I thought I could win it, but you never know because there's like 20 other dudes who think that they can
Yeah.
win it and that they should win it or whatever. But when I won that, like that was a big confidence booster, just like dang, like I just took down these guys. Like I can actually do it. And then, after that went and won, the Ivy League championships and the regional
Hmm.
championships, which I knew that would be relatively easy compared to nationals in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, NCAA's was like, I think I was just in like a really good spot, like having fun with the team. It was
Hmm.
great to come back to the South. So like, Charlottesville is not that far south, but lots of people like from all over, who I used to compete against in high school and stuff. It was nice being down there, and um, honestly, it just felt like a big celebration, like the day of the race, like just a celebration of the whole season and all the training I'd been doing. And at that point, like I thought I could, of course, I thought I could win it.
Hmm.
I had a game plan going into it, but I never put pressure on myself to like have to win. It's I said this a lot, I feel like, but like it's always about who's the best on that day. And
Yeah.
I just somehow, figure out how to be really good on specific days, like on race days, and really figured it
Hmm.
out. And um, that was obviously like my favorite race ever was NCAA's. And then to top it off with the 5K, like a few weeks later,
Yeah.
it's obviously like a really good few months. Something I'm gonna definitely a season I'll treasure for forever. So
Hmm.
it was awesome.
So why did you decide to then sign the NIL deal with New Balance?
Yeah, it came. So I was working with like an agent pretty early on
Uh-huh.
into the season. Kind of like how I was just talking about how I was surprised that Gibby reached out to me when I was
Yeah.
a junior and didn't really have that many good times. I had an agent reach out to me early on that
Hmm.
cross country season and talked about how he's like, I think you're probably the next guy up to get in NIL. And I was like, okay, like if you want to work with me. So I signed a contract with like Ray Flynn Sports Management, which is
Hmm.
they, that's a professional agency, but they're
Yeah.
also able to negotiate NIL deals, because I'm not signed to like the professional aspect of that.
Yeah.
But thankfully, once I signed off on that, that was all on their end. They kind of
Hmm.
negotiated everything. They kind of like talked to brands, saw who was interested, who wasn't. And as the season progressed, things changed a lot. After I won Nutty Comb, there was definitely a lot more interest. And then I won
Hmm.
nationals, and then I ran the Fast 5K, and it came down to two brands, um, and one of them was New Balance, and I ended up just picking New Balance because, um, I mean, it's pretty simple. Like their
Yeah.
track is like right around the corner. They're based in
Hmm.
Boston. Uh, it just made a lot of sense, because I can literally ride my bike there in 10
Yeah.
minutes from my dorm. I mean, my bike's right here. Um and I think it's been a good decision so far because I've been able to go over to their facilities like ever since I've signed the contract. I've probably been like 10 times. Just get to go, like, they give me clothes when I need them. uh I've really liked and I've really enjoyed their shoes so far. Not that that's like the big part of it, but I really
Yeah.
like the shoes. I like the spikes. And I've been able to. It's great to be able to go over there and like develop relationships with the people that are a part of the company. And uh,
Hmm.
hopefully I can like you know I'll be at New Balance Nationals and stuff like that. Like get to help out with that type of stuff. And you know
Yeah.
they've treated me great. They've treated like my teammates great. So I've really enjoyed being a part of New Balance so far.
Okay. So right now, or like with your training where you're running once a day primarily, do you do anything in the afternoons or is the rest of the day just devoted to rest?
Pretty much like just devoted to rest. Like and that's the thing with our training is like we do it,
Mhm.
we do a lot of mileage, but like so like I was saying, like I do 100 miles a week normally, and I do that in 6 days. So I have a full day off. A lot of
Okay.
people do 100-mile weeks like a lot differently than that.
Yeah.
They'll definitely do it every single day. They'll do lots of doubles.
Yeah.
I do 100-mile weeks normally just 6 days and then one double.
What's your
Um,
double day typically?
I think I would do it on a Tuesday. So normally I
Okay.
would do it. I would wake up in the morning and run 5 miles, and then go
Hmm.
back in the afternoon and run run my workout. And that
Yeah.
ends up being a long workout day, like 20 to 22 miles total.
Uh-huh.
Um, but that's kind of like how we do it, is like big chunks of work and then you rest. So like
Yeah.
on a Monday, like my easy run is like 12 and a half to 13 miles with
Hmm.
strides, which is like, that's like a half marathon. And
Yeah.
that's my least amount of mileage on a day. But once I'm done, like I just go home and I rest. Um,
Hmm.
I don't really have a choice that much of the time because like I have homework to do.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that much mileage, you get tired. So like
Uh-huh.
you spend a lot of like when I think of cross country season, I honestly just think about being tired all the time. Like you just come back to your dorm, you eat, and you just like you try to work before you fall asleep, and then sleep.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it takes at this level to like get super fit, because like once you
Hmm.
pull the mileage out, once you get towards the end of the season, things really start to click. So a lot of
Yeah.
rest, a lot of rest.
So, are you currently injured? Because, like, from Strava, you've obviously been doing a good bit of cross training. So, like, how's that going if you're injured?
Yeah, I've been injured for like a little bit, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
deal with it probably for a little bit longer. I'm off my feet for a little while, so I've
Yeah.
been doing a ton of cross training. It's been actually kind of nice to it sucks. I mean, I love running, and the best part about
Hmm.
running is to be with your teammates, and to just kind of like be with everyone, get to race and like, just to be a part of like that whole thing. But I'm just having to step away for a while to heal now.
Hmm.
Thankfully I caught this thing in my leg, uh,
Yeah.
like before the outdoor season came, because,
Hmm.
what I'm really trying to do is qualify for the Olympics, and that's
Oh, really?
in June.
Yeah.
So, um, I'm kind of like how, it's kind of funny you asked this afterwards,
Uh-huh.
after talking about the 100-mile weeks, is like, I'm kind of training like this is the summer now. Except
Yeah.
I'm not running. I'm mostly swimming, biking, aqua jogging. I'm doing a lot of training, and I'm tired and hungry all the time, just like in the fall. So I'm doing I did like 16 hours of cross training last week, which is a lot. I'm doing it in 6 days too. Um,
Yeah.
but it's been nice. Like I have teammates that really help me out, like in the pool. My girlfriend really helps me in the pool. She's like really fucking
Hmm.
good at swimming, and I am not. Like I'm like she drops me, dude. Like I'm so bad at swimming. But that probably makes it easier for me to get my heart rate up, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, just taking some time off, sadly. But
Hmm.
I'll be ready to go for outdoor season, and I'm really looking forward to the summer and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite form of cross training, would you say?
I mean, when I'm at home, mountain biking, but my
Yeah.
mom, my mom will never let me do that again, because it's super dangerous and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Especially if you're ranked like number one, don't want to get injured.
yeah, right. Like, every time I come home, like, and I'm competing better, like,
Hmm.
unless she wants me to go out on the trails, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Uh, but she's got a point. It's just not really worth it. I mean, the trails in Athens are so cool. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many trails around the city. Uh, but they're pretty sketchy, like sharp drop-offs. Like, I mean, there's
Yeah.
like homemade trails like along the highway and stuff. Like they're not super safe. But I used to love to do that. But honestly, like I'm gonna put the mountain bike down for a little while I try to,
Hmm.
get all the running stuff out of my legs in the first part of my life. Uh, but with that said, like with right now, probably the best cross training I found for me is this stationary bike, which is
Yeah.
not it's not that fun, but very easy to get your heart rate up. Like
Hmm.
I have bike shorts and like a bike kit, so I just kind of like get in the mode, and you can really you can really turn it up on there. Sometimes I watch like the Tour de France highlights and stuff, and just go absolutely ham.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have like a structured training plan with your cross training, or is it just kind of like do whatever?
I have structure with it now, like. Um,
Hmm.
My freshman year, I got injured for a little while too, for a month or two. So this
Yeah.
section might be shorter than that. Uh, and I was mostly just on the bike, and like that got really hard. Because I ended up being on the saddle for like a long time every day, like
Yeah.
normally over 80 minutes a day. Um, and that got like really tough mentally to like just get on the bike all the time, like,
Hmm.
and just hammer your legs. So this
Yeah.
time around, I've been doing like a lot of like doubles and triples even when I have
Hmm.
time. Um, I think pretty much every morning during the week, I'm getting up and I'm swimming at least 75 minutes to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's with my girlfriend who they think like has workouts for me and like we'll go
Hmm.
down together and do it together though, because like I'm telling you, like once the workout starts, like she's gone, like I can't see her. Um, so I'll do that, and then I'm able to like go to class during the day, um, and then come back, right before practice. I can probably get in like an hour to 75 minutes on the bike. Sometimes
Hmm.
I'll work like a workout, or sometimes just like try to be steady for that long. Um, and then sometimes if I even have more time during the day, I'll squeeze in like a 30-minute aqua jog, which
Yeah.
I'm not super good at aqua jogging, but I just like to put the floaty thing on and just kind of like
Hmm.
pretend like I'm running because it's like keeping the muscles in check and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what my training's like right now. And then pretty soon we're gonna add in the boost treadmill, like like it's like the anti-gravity thing.
Yeah.
And then from there you add in walk, jog, and running, and then
Hmm.
soon enough I'll be running again, and just build from there. Back to some higher mileage.
Yeah. Okay. To switch it up a little bit, what are three non-running related facts about you?
Oh shoot. Okay. Three non-running related facts.
Hmm.
Okay. So I would say number one, just to get this, my initials are KGB, which a
Yeah.
lot of people get confused. My first name is actually Kennedy, and
Hmm.
my middle name's Graham. So I just go by my middle name. Um, and the KGB is like the Russian secret
Yeah.
service. So whenever people ask for autographs, I just write down KGB. So I hope people aren't that confused. Like that's
Yeah,
just
I have
my
that on my spike bag.
Yeah, right. So you got the OG KGB. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. I'd say second, like that I wish people maybe knew more about me is like my what I'm studying. Like I'm studying
Hmm.
economics and philosophy. I like both the subjects a lot, and I've had like a lot of fun classes from
Yeah.
Harvard, and I have a pretty sweet bookshelf because of it. So I guess
Oh,
it's
really?
I have a lot of cool books that I've collected over the years.
Hmm.
Probably just because of like what I've been studying and stuff. So people would ask me more philosophy questions. Hopefully I could give good answers. Um, and then the third thing that I probably spend the next most amount of time is like I have a job over at the Harvard Business School. So I go to Harvard College, which is for
Yeah.
like the undergrads. Harvard Business School is like a graduate program, so all the older people,
Hmm.
and it's across the river next to athletic facilities. Um, so I actually work there as like a research assistant. So I just help write stuff for like I help a professor basically write stuff for his classes and for his students. And his name's Paul Gompers. And he actually used to be on the Harvard team too. And this was a long time ago. It might have been in like I think it was in the 80s when he was on the team. But he finished fifth at NCAA cross country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had the school record in the 10K for a
Crazy.
while, which probably seems slow now because of the super spikes and stuff.
Yeah.
But he also got fourth at the U.S. Olympic trials in the marathon. So he
Uh,
almost made the Olympic team.
hmm.
And this is the most impressive. I think when he was a freshman at Harvard, he finished the cross country season, flew down to Birmingham, and ran a marathon. And this is in like
Really?
the 80s, and he ran 2:15.
That's
2:15 in the
crazy.
marathon, no super shoes in Alabama, so it's probably kind of hot. And at the time, it was like the world junior record. So the
Hmm.
fastest junior in the world wasn't from East Africa. He was from Massachusetts. So
That's insane.
pretty random, 2:15. But now I work for him, and I'm kind of like riding his coattail,
Hmm.
as like a Harvard runner. So. Um, I guess that's my third fact.
Okay. So this next question is kind of a bit random too. Are you a big Napoleon Dynamite fan?
Of course I am.
Okay.
You know the Instagram username Graham
Yeah.
versus Pedro. I've had that ever since I made my account. I
Hmm.
just assumed I was watching the movie when I made it a long time ago. Um, in like sixth or seventh grade, I tried out for the talent show with one of my friends. And it was for the. Have you seen Napoleon Dynamite?
I have.
So it's like it might be like the kind of like the finale of the movie when it's
Yeah.
like Pedro gives his speech and then Napoleon goes out and dances to Canned Heat. They
Hmm.
dance up on the stage. So my friend and I tried out for the talent show reenacting that scene. So I was Pedro. So I had the easy part. All I had to do is go out and give his speech. And then my friend went out and did the dance. And we didn't make the cut. I don't know how many cuts they made, but we didn't make it to the talent
Hmm.
show. So
Oh,
very sad, but honestly, they probably saved us a lot of embarrassment. Um, and I had the vote for Pedro t-shirt and stuff.
yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while though, but good movie that I honestly haven't seen in probably like 5 years. Like I really need to go back to that, 'cause it's a funny movie.
Okay. Another big question is where does the dancing before the big faces come from? So I feel
Oh,
like,
like the magic trick?
yeah, like stuff like that.
Yeah. That was like, I think that probably came from like, it was probably my senior year of high school.
Hmm.
Is when I qualified for like a big race for the first time. Was I qualified for NXN. And at NXN they do they obviously stream the race, but
Yeah.
when you get to these big cross country races they have like golf cart like like gators, and they have like a
Hmm.
camera in the back with like a stabilized camera. And this is the same in college, but before a race starts, when it's like a big race, they'll drive the truck across the start line and like video everyone. Uh,
Hmm.
and I knew a lot of people were watching me in high school. Like I sent my friends the link and stuff. And I knew some people at Harvard were watching because I was already committed here, and we like to stay in touch with our like commits just to see how they do in high school.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I'll do something cool. So I don't know who taught me it or or like where it honestly came from, like the thumb trick.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, oh, I'll do that, like do that, act like it's a grenade, like rip it off, boom, like and then like have an explosion and like over the southeast on my uniform.
Yeah.
Like I must have just come up with that like the night before or something. Wasn't practiced very much, but did that and I didn't really get much. I mean, my friends probably said that was funny or whatever.
Mm.
Um, but didn't really do anything like that again until a couple years later when I got back to college. Next time I did it was in my freshman year at NCAA's in Tallahassee. Like
Yeah.
people don't know this, but I've been doing it like every race. So like this is
Hmm.
Tallahassee freshman year. I got 23rd. I had a good race, but like competition was unreal that year. But did it there and then like went back to, the next year, went to cross country in Stillwater, Oklahoma, did it there, did on the start line of, they don't really do it at track races as much, uh,
Yeah.
because they don't, have a golf cart that goes across, but, then,
Hmm.
obviously did it again at, Nutty Comb this year and nationals, and it kind of caught on. So it's just something I kind of do because it's just at this point it's just like a tradition, like people expect it. But I think it kind of calms me down, calms the guys in the team
Hmm.
down because like in the end, like people get on the start line and they act like they're like about to serve a death penalty or something. Like it's not
Yeah.
serious. It's just like a foot race, and it's fun to enjoy it. Maybe make a few people
Hmm.
laugh beforehand. So I think that's something I'm gonna keep doing the rest of my career.
Okay. So this is another pretty random question, but it's kind of regarding to my current track coach. Do you remember any other like athletes when you were a junior, specifically from Whitfield?
Yeah, of course, Devin Wade.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was a good runner. Like we were both in 1A private, which is
Yeah.
basically the smallest division you get in GHSA. You got, or at least how it used to be, is 1A public, 1A private.
Mm,
3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A. But 1A private was legit. You know, you got all these small private schools and
yeah.
there's some elite runners. But yeah, Devin Wade was a really good runner from Whitfield. You know,
Hmm.
I think he beat me my freshman year at state in cross country, and then might have beat me my sophomore year also in cross country. But I ended up getting him my junior and senior year. But him and Zach Truitt were probably my two biggest
Hmm.
rivals. You know, now they you know they were both at Georgia Tech for a little while. I know
Yeah.
Zach's at Georgia now, and Devin's at Georgia Tech. But you know,
Hmm.
Devin, I kind of keep up with him every now and then. I'll see him at back in Georgia. So good rival, good friend.
Do you possibly remember a kid named Zach Justice from that team?
It sounds familiar. Sounds very
Okay.
familiar. How come?
He's my current coach, and I think he's gonna think this is pretty funny because
No
like, do you know
way.
someone from Whitfield?
Yeah, I
And then
know.
he was like Devin Wade.
I might remember that. Obviously, I remember
Mm.
Devin just because he was
Yeah,
like,
Devin's crazy.
yeah, he was goated. So,
He still
but
has most of
I
his
feel like
full
Zach
records, I think.
really okay. Yeah, Zach
Mm.
Justice does sound familiar. So, and I guarantee we've raced if he was on Whitfield because
Yeah.
we always race Whitfield at Carrollton.
Okay, so I don't have any more questions for you, but if you have any for me, I'll answer them. If
What are
not,
your goals? Are you doing indoor season?
no, the Georgia middle school indoor season's already over.
Oh, where did you run the indoor races?
There, I didn't race any this season, but the closest track is in Alabama, so I didn't
Yeah,
really
the
get a chance.
Birmingham track.
Yeah,
I've heard they're building one at UGA pretty soon.
yeah,
Uh,
that's what I've heard.
what grade are you in?
I'm an eighth.
Oh, sweet. So you'll definitely get to, dang, that's awesome because it should be done within the next 4 years, I think.
Yeah,
So, you'll get to race on it, in high school. That'll be cool. Have you ever raced at the indoor track at Riverside Military Academy?
I have not.
Okay, avoid it. It's
Okay.
not good. It's an experience, so it's a lot of fun, but, very not a fun track to race.
Hmm.
And what are you doing this outdoor season? What's your schedule looking like?
So I had my first race yesterday, which was kind of like unscheduled. I kind of signed up last minute since I was the like only middle schooler for my team doing it. So it was fun. I PR'd in the mile by like 12 seconds, but
Woo!
it was
Nice.
a windy and cold day. So
Yeah, nice. Well, dude, good luck this outdoor season.
thank you. You as
Last year
well.
in middle school,
Hmm.
gotta go out strong.
Hopefully I'll be able to interview you after you make it to the Paris games too.
Yeah, for sure. I'll book you first if I do that. So,
Okay. Well, have a nice rest of your night.
yeah, you too. Enjoy the long weekend, and thanks for having me on. We'll talk
Thank
soon if
you.
I'm in Paris.
Okay. See ya.
All right, see you then.